it up. Okay. Good morning. Hey, happy Monday. Welcome to the third quarterly Healthier Together workshop. And just a reminder, like I said, we are going to be recording this for our friends that aren't able to join us today. So please be sure to mute your microphone, and it's up to you if you'd like to keep your video on. It's always nice to see everybody's smiling faces on a lovely Monday. So let's look at our lineup of presenters for today. We're so happy to have everybody with us. First of all, my name is Christy Bruner. I'm the Community Engagement Supervisor with Healthy St. Pete in the city of St. Petersburg. With us today, and we will hear more about them and from them later, is Marcus Brooks from the Foundation for Healthy St. Petersburg, Cassidy Mutnansky, also with us in Healthy St. Pete with Health and All Policies, Susan Ahok, who is the Community Service Director with the City of St. Petersburg, Brother John Muhammad, who is the President of Childs Park Neighborhood Association, as well as Clayton Sizemore with Mindful Movement Florida. Going to make sure we have everybody in that is requested in so far, and we're good to go. All right, so why are we here? Let's start with why we're here today and why it's important for us as a community to continue to come together. We are going to have a quick poll, if you guys will look up on your screen, whether you are in person. I'm not sure if you can do this on telephone, but if you're seeing this video, and we have two questions for you today, just about why you're here and who you represent. So if you could take a quick moment to let us know what organization you belong to or are representing, and you can choose more than one if that works for you. And also, what's the primary reason you're here today at the Healthier Together workshop? And I'll just give us a few minutes. We're admitting a few more people. Welcome, welcome. We have a quick poll. It looks like we have about half of our people that are attending today that have participated. So I'll give it just a few more minutes. And remember, with that first question, you can choose all that applies. So maybe, and also if there's an other for either of those questions, if you're checking other, we would love for you to comment in the chat box with what your other is, either who you're representing or why you're here today. So just another few minutes while we let a few more friends in today. And again, happy Monday. You're here at the Healthier Together workshop with Healthy St. Pete and the city of St. Petersburg. We're so glad that you're deciding to share a portion of your Monday with us. All right, looks like maybe about 10 more people might want to vote. We'll give them about 30 seconds. And if you do have any other comments that weren't listed in these options, of course, Zoom only gives me these way to present questions. Please go ahead and put it in the chat box. And throughout the morning, if you have any questions or ideas that you want to share with us in the chat box, please. So we'll give it about 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. All right, we're going to end the poll. Don't worry, we'll have more polls. And we'll share the results of this. So it looks like we have lots of people in private sector workplace and looking to collaborate with community partners. So I think that is a value and a message that we all share. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna stop sharing that. And there we go. All right, currently, as you guys can see, this is a map of St. Petersburg from the City Health Dashboard. Currently, major causes of death and disability in St. Petersburg are due to chronic conditions, such as heart disease, cancer, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. And a significant portion of those conditions are preventable, as we know. Conditions are now exacerbated by both COVID-19 and, of course, inequitable healthcare access and information that has always existed. What the map here illustrates is that health outcomes are very much driven by zip code. So each little block there is a zip code block. Even here in our community, the darker zip codes indicate lower health outcomes, including length of life and quality of life. The Healthy St. Pete team feels it's imperative to make data-informed decisions about programming and procedures based on where the need lies. So the key term in the last few months, I'm sure for you guys, as it has been for us, is pivot. How is your organization pivoting due to changes in our economy, our education, communication, and daily life due to this global pandemic? We wanted to share some of our recent Healthy St. Pete successes with you from this summer. Again, check real quick, add a few more friends in that just joined us. Welcome to the Healthier Together workshop. Let's see. So we have a Healthy Kids program. I'm going to go through some of our basic programs that we offer within Healthy St. Pete and how we have pivoted this summer, just as you have as well. And again, please share with us in the chat box how your organization has pivoted or collaborated with someone new this summer. We would love to share those successes. So instead of our health leaders going out to our 12 recreation centers every month this summer, they are really creative and innovative health leaders came up with social emotional topics to share each month with our center participants by creating camp boxes that they dropped off to each center every Monday and picked up every Friday and sanitized and refilled for the next week. And again, those were social emotional lessons that we really felt was important for us to share with our families, our coaches, and our kids throughout this super trying time. So things like courage and making friends and decision making and resiliency, lots of different things that we shared. And our coaches came up with physical activities and journal prompts and science projects and art projects, and we provided all the materials that the camp kids needed. We engaged about 800 children through our camps this summer. Usually that number is closer to 3,000 each summer. So there's obviously a lot of kids that we didn't have access to and that didn't have access to camp. So we took it one step further and we implemented our Healthy Kids at Home program. I hope you are able to see that. If you haven't checked out that curriculum, it is on our healthystpetefl.com website. Every week we reloaded a new curriculum highlighting one of those social emotional topics for families to be able to participate at home. So again, those different physical activities, those science experiments, art projects. And we also gave out activity kits at our Dell Home summer lunch program. So to make sure that all families had access, whether they didn't have a computer or access to the materials in our community, even if they weren't at our camp. So we were really successful at implementing and pivoting this program. Also, another program that we usually have physical locations for our fresh rec stops at 6 of our different recreation centers throughout the city, where residents and community members can come and purchase low-cost fruits and vegetables at the centers. Although they weren't open this summer, our Fresh Rec Stop team, again, pivoted and decided to provide 5 healthy snack recipes to those kids that are in the camps, and they actually provided some of the ingredients as well. So we purchased 800 avocados and dropped them off all throughout the city with recipes about how to make easy guacamole that the kids in camp could take home. They made different things like a grain bowl and veggie bowl and some things that are easy to make with low-cost ingredients, and we gave that access right out to the community. And then, as I mentioned, we have that summer lunch program, and we served over 1,350 free meals at that lunch location, and that'll be going through this week as well. So we're there every day, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So that's an access point for our community. Let's see. Whoop. There we are. All right, so we have another program which hopefully a lot of you have participated in pre-COVID. That's our Get Fit St. Pete program. Typically before COVID, we had every Tuesday evening and every Saturday morning. We had, sorry, just letting a few more people in here. We had classes, things like cardio tennis, which is super exciting. We had hula fitness, we had a trail run, we had yoga in the park. And these, again, using that city dashboard data and zip code data, we hit all different areas, north, south, east, west, central, with different parks to provide this free programming. So although we weren't able to offer in-person programming, we did film and share 12 online fitness videos and also recipe videos, children's health videos featuring our community partners to bring that programming to your home. So that's on YouTube through our Parks and Rec website. So definitely check those out and share them if you're looking for anything from a Tai Chi workout to a progressive relaxation kids video. We made a coloring book with physical activities for kids to participate in. So lots of different ways to engage our partners. Let's see. And one way that we are engaging our neighborhoods, and hopefully some of you on the call are part of this as well, is as a neighborhood wellness champion. So we made one of our Get Fit St. Pete programs on the fourth Saturday of the month as our neighborhood walk. And instead of implementing that at one specific park and one location throughout the city, we decided to really empower communities and neighborhoods to organize that on their own and communicate within their neighborhood where that might be. So before COVID, we had about 6 neighborhoods on board that started walking in January and February on that fourth Saturday of the month. And those champions are able to communicate and let the neighborhood know some of what's going on with Healthy St. Pete as far as our other programming as well, how to access healthy food, how to learn more about our online programming during these times. So they're a resource in our neighborhood, and we are actively looking, and I know I've even heard of from some this week from this email going out for neighborhood champions to learn more about Healthy St. Pete and how you can get involved bringing that programming and knowledge to your neighborhood. And let's see, so we're here at the Healthier Together initiative. I wanted to give you a little backstory about how that got started. There's 3 different phases. We are right here in phase 2 at one of our workshops, but let's hop back to phase 1. All of these amazing partners have different subject area expertise, and we really felt that it was imperative to highlight the resource-rich community that we live in here in St. Petersburg. I know we have some industry experts on the call. I know we have some interested individuals and residents, and we want to really, our goal is to bring those 2 things together, the resources and those who are looking for them. And you guys here on the call are really that glue that will help bring those together. So these are some of our featured ambassadors that we have featured so far already. We'll be looking for new ambassadors in the fall. So again, in the chat box, if that's something that you are interested in or know somebody that would be a great person to feature, please let us know. So the ways that our ambassador helps us out is they are on our Healthy St. Pete Facebook group, which if you're not there already, please search us on Facebook. That's our best way to find out what's going on and best way for us to share what's going on with you to the rest of our community. And we have over 3,000 members in that group. So it's a really active and engaged group in the community. And we really try to access all different elements of wellness, everything from children's health to environmental health, to nutrition, mental health, financial health, fitness, and I'm probably missing something else, but all those things are super important. The next phase is here at our quarterly workshops. These are a chance in person at first and now over Zoom to really engage with each other, learn from each other, and see how we can move forward together and collectively. And the next workshop will be in October, looking at the last Friday in October. So stay on our social media channels and our newsletter and our website, and more information about that next workshop will be coming soon. So today, especially, we'll be talking about the next phase of Healthier Together, which is our certification. We've kind of teased this over the last few workshops, and we're really working and fine-tuning that at this point. We're actually working with our web developer right now, which is really exciting, and they're working on adding it to our website. So you will hear a lot more about this certification, but as it notes here, it's really a great way for customers, employees, and neighbors to really have a healthy environment wherever they go. And you as a leader, you as a neighbor, as a business owner, as a leader, what other organization you're affiliated with, has the opportunity to use this certification to bring these healthy programs and policies to your organization. So like we say here, it's a great way to foster the behavior modification in addition to policy adaptation and implementation. So we're really excited about this opportunity to not only assess what your organization is doing and giving you the tools to move forward, but also to provide those resources. That's going to be the missing link, and what we're really gathering information from you as our resources of how a potential neighborhood association could hire or have a guest speaker from a mental health institution come and speak to them, their group, and give them those tools and really connect those dots. So that's just one example of how an organization would be able to use this toolkit. So Without further ado, one of those partners who has a vested interest in fostering community collaboration is Marcus Brooks. Welcome, with the Foundation for Healthy St. Petersburg. So we are going to turn it over to Marcus, if I can find him. Marcus.
Good morning.
Oh, there you are. I got to turn you over to admin, and he's going to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his role. So we're going to change host and give us just a moment for technical.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to share my screen here shortly, and then that way we can get things going. 1 second.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yes, thank you. All right. So, all right, and just let me know if you can give me a thumbs up when that screen is where it needs to be. Good. All right, awesome. So good morning. Thank you to each of you for allowing me to be a part of this conversation. Thank you so much, Christy, Julie Rocco on our team at the Foundation for making the connection. Just super excited. Now, if some of you have been in some of the Foundation things that have been happening over the past couple of weeks, you've probably seen my face or heard my voice one too many times, so I can assure you I will be going away after this until about September, and other members of our team will be visible. But nevertheless, excited to be here and be a part of this conversation. Again, I'm Marcus Brooks, Community Engagement Advocate for the Center for Health Equity and the Foundation for Healthy St. Petersburg. So just gonna give you kind of a quick background on what the Foundation for Healthy St. Pete is, what we do, but I really want this conversation to be a lot more focused on what we can do as a community, as a wellness group of individuals who have a vested interest in the total population health of Pinellas County and St. Petersburg. So the Foundation's mission is to end differences in health due to social and structural disadvantages to improve population health. It's an easy way of just saying we want health to be available and visible for all members of Pinellas County and St. Petersburg, especially South St. Petersburg, where we see a lot of the disparities. Population health is a term that you may have heard. We say it a lot, other groups say it a lot, and really it's just this holistic view of health. And the one thing I love about population health is, again, it addresses all the elements of a person's life. And understanding that only 20% of our health is really predicated on going to a doctor and how often we see a doctor. And that other 80% is all of those other things that affect our health, where we live, where we work, where we play, our access to healthcare, access to transportation, all those other factors that are actually impacting our daily lives. Those are actually called the social determinants of health. I'm not going to read the definition because many of you are aware of the social determinants of health, but there's some examples in the illustration to your right. We at the Foundation utilize this social determinants of health framework to inform the decisions that we make as a group, how we fund certain things, where we identify opportunities for learning partners. We're getting away from this idea of responsive grant making and really looking at idea fueling. The wisdom is in the community. You all have the answers as community members as to how to improve our community. And at the Foundation, we want to fuel those, looking with an equity lens, right? Because again, this is about elevating all folks in the community and not just some or the majority race or population. We do that through research and advocacy and strategic communications, making sure that we as an organization are informing the community, bringing things to light that may not always be seen. So this idea of health equity, I love this because I put in all caps the word all, the opportunity for all members of the community. Naturally, that sounds great in theory, right? We want everyone to have access to a healthy lifestyle. But in Pinellas County, we know that's not in fact the case. Race is a clear determinant for how a person is going to live in our county, and especially in St. Petersburg. My mom currently, she worked 37 years in public health and worked in 37 years and just working with people and families with Pinellas Opportunity Council. And, you know, currently in her neighborhood, if I want to grab something healthy to eat, I've either got to go downtown or ask her to make it or make it myself. It's a food desert. The Childs Park area, there's not a ton of places to eat. And why that is if we're honest with one another, a lot of that has to do with some of the systemic policies and things that were passed down many, many years ago that are affecting these communities. And so we have to also understand that within communities, there are tons of assets. There are tons and tons of assets in the communities that you may not look at as positive places where people are doing amazing things. And the foundation is really set and put in a place to elevate those voices because we believe that all people have value, and the idea is just seeing it and bringing it to the forefront. So I add this to health equity, this piece about free from avoidable and unfair differences and barriers, because there are clear differences and barriers. And a lot of us may not be aware of them, but I encourage you as we get into some of the solutions to this, do your own deep dive, do your own digging, look for that information, because our city is a lot different than you may even believe, but there's opportunity to be better. And so that's why I think we're here, and that's why I'm excited to be a part of this discussion with Healthy St. Pete. So let's just look at some of the disparities that you may or may not have been aware of. 30% of African-American residents are living in poverty, 12% of white residents. The infant death, 2.2 times higher for African-American babies, which I've heard many times to say, well, I mean, it's only 2. I struggle with that. Only anything is a problem, right? If all members of our community are not thriving, if all babies in our community cannot be born and brought into this world, I think we have an issue, and it's something that we can work on. The fact that Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and this is not just in Pinellas County, this is a nationwide pandemic in itself. And so it's something that we as a community, as a state, as a country need to be working on. Reported suicides, nearly 6 times higher among white residents than Black residents. And the interesting thing about this data is sometimes we find that the majority race has disproportionate issues as well. And so how do we tackle this idea of suicide? What is actually going on? How do we come together as a community to combat that issue? And then diabetes, 2.6 times higher among Blacks than whites. I personally have a connection to this because my father passed away in 2012 from complication with diabetes. And a lot of it was eating habits, and a lot of it was how he was raised. And a lot of it was what he did not have access to in his younger years. And so I personally have set out to say that will not be me, but I want to make sure that I'm also putting in places opportunities for people who look like me to have that same knowledge and understanding. So what can we do as community members and local and health and wellness experts? I didn't want to make that so daunting because there are things that we can do as a community to change the trajectory of the community for all people. So from an education standpoint, the foundation, this is what we do. We make the cause that health disparities, which are rooted in social or social structural disadvantages, are unacceptable. This cannot continue, and we will put our flag in the ground and saying we'll do everything that we can to make sure that it doesn't. But we do not have the answers. We are not the be-all, end-all. The wisdom is in the community. So here's what you all can do as individuals on this call and as community members of St. Pete. Deepen your understanding of the role that institutional racism and systemic oppression play in health and wellness in our community. There are underlying issues, there are underlying laws, there are underlying economic developments that don't exist in certain communities of color. And the more you can grasp that and understand that and come to grips with that, I think we're all going to be better. Create the change that you want to see. That's an internal thing that has to happen, and it will show outward. Deepening your understanding. This is interesting because if you look at the way this is broken down, it goes education, understanding, and then inspire action. Oftentimes, human beings, we want to go from educating ourselves to acting, right? With the recent deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, you name it, Tamir Rice, I could go on forever, Eric Garner. We're all in this mode of thinking, how do we act? What can I do right now? And what we encourage people to do is get a better understanding. At the foundation, we utilize our role in this equity movement to push social change. We're trying to show people how they can get involved. But again, you all are the people. Lean into those uncomfortable conversations and be willing to stand in your new understanding. You know, Dr. Ibram Kendi, who wrote the book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, states that, you know, it's not enough to be not racist, right? Because being not racist is actually being complicit with the issues at hand. The goal is to be anti-racist, and that's to stand against any form of racism that's going on in any community, because it does affect the overall health. It's that idea of mental health and wellness. If there's a certain group in our community who's struggling with this mental capacity, their mental effects of what goes on when it comes to racism, why are we not thinking of that in a holistic approach? That's a mental health issue. And then inspiring action, that piece that we all want to get to. You know, we're utilizing our investments and the ability to use dollars and learning partners and research to amplify this voice and social change. But what you all can do is identify ways to elevate and include communities of color in your work. You know, there are yoga studios that should be partnering with yoga studios that are minority owned to elevate that, to bring different resources together. I encourage people to diversify your social and professional circles. I always use the term that I don't want to be the only African-American person at the cookout. I'm serious when I say that. Have those conversations with your coworkers, invite them to different places when it's healthy and safe to go outside, and think of it from that perspective. And just to wrap, another opportunity to be a part of the change, Grow Smarter St. Pete is an initiative that's the Foundation for a Healthy St. Petersburg has invested in, along with other amazing community partners, the Chamber, St. Pete College. This is a joint effort between local business and education, and the goal here is to develop a strategy with a focus on equity for equitable economic development. This has really been great. Dr. Tashika Griffith with St. Petersburg College is the chair. They have some amazing work groups, which I think are awesome. So please reach out to Grow Smarter St. Pete if you're interested in being a part of this as a local business. We're doing deepening partnerships. I'm having conversations. My teammates, Delquanda Turner-Smith, Julie Rocco, Jamie Dixon, and other members of the foundation are having conversations constantly with organizations, with companies, with nonprofits to learn about their COVID-19 response and the issues that you may be having in your communities or in your businesses around race equity. And last but not least, because I know that was a lot, coming up on Wednesday, we have the equity profile. It's going to be moderated by Ms. Carrie Hepburn with Onyx Strategic Solutions. It says Tim Dutton there, but really this is Unite Pinellas who's actually putting it on, and Tim Dutton. And they're going to be going over that equity profile that was released last year, going deeper into the data, seeing what it says about the racial disparities. I encourage you all to engage in these conversations, but most importantly, I encourage you to continue doing the work that you are doing. Lean into those uncomfortable conversations, diversify your groups. You all can do this. Again, the wisdom is in the community. You are the community. And thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you, Marcus. Woo! What a way to start a Monday.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
That was great. No, I loved it. I loved the I'll call it triad of education, understanding, and inspiring action. So thank you so much for your wisdom this morning, and I like how there's something in between education and action, because we're all here to take action. We're all here to do something and to be part of something bigger than ourselves. And we're learning and understanding what those tools are. So thank you, Marcus.
Christy, real quick, if I could just add one more thing, and it's something I left out, but I think it's extremely important. As we think about our workplaces, also look to diversify there and try to avoid tokenism, right? So a lot of times we'll say we've got 1 or 2 people of color on your staff. Really look at that. There are authentic ways to do that. And sometimes it starts just by having conversations in your community to find out what the assets are there to bring them into your places of work. So they don't have to be separate. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wonderful. We're going to transition over to Cassidy Mutnansky. She is our Health and All Policies Planner with Healthy St. Pete and the City of St. Petersburg. So I'll let her give a little background about her info and her role, and also how that fits in with our education, understanding, and inspiring action. And I see that Cassidy's been really active in our chat box, giving lots of awesome links, which we will share everything in the chat box with you after this meeting, but please keep asking questions of us as presenters and of each other in the group today. So Cassidy, I'm going to go ahead and have you take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Marcus, you are always like really hard to follow after, but I'm going to try. And I posted, someone asked a question about data sources and data ages. And anytime people mention data, I just nerd out. So I put a whole bunch of data links in the chat box for anybody that ever wants to look at the data behind health disparities, and people can add their own links as well. So as Christy mentioned, my name is Cassidy Mutnansky. I am the city's Health and All Policies Planner, housed under Healthy St. Pete. My background's in both urban planning and public health, so this is like my dream position to be around. So first I want to tell the 1-minute version of what is Health and All Policies, because that's my normal everyday job, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about our Healthier Together certification and what to expect from that, because it is in progress and we are closer than ever to launching it, as Christy mentioned. So for Health and All Policies is a collaborative approach to decision making that takes into consideration the social determinants of health and a health equity lens to systematically ingrain health considerations across city decisions. So as many of you here know, and Marcus and I think Christy also brought up social determinants of health, the conditions in which we live, work, play, and age greatly influence our health. So we know that our health is determined by the resources and supports available in our homes and communities and our neighborhoods. We know that the quality of our child care and education determines our health. We know that the efficiency and safety and reliability of our transportation, our economic opportunities, our workplaces, literally where we are all the time, the cleanliness of our environment, and the nature of our social interactions and relationships also are all examples of the social determinants of health. And we also know that every day cities make decisions that impact the social determinants of health. So our city develops and implements programs. We create new plans like Vision 2050 is going on right now. We identify and construct new projects, and we work to pass new policies. And what Health in All Policies does is it recognizes the role of all city departments and their influence on all the social determinants of health. So through Health in All Policies, what we can do is we can systematically identify and mitigate any negative health impacts of our proposals before they're implemented. And then we can also work collaboratively together to purposefully promote health benefits through our multi-sectoral plans, programs, policies, and projects to create a healthy and supportive environment that enables everyone in our city to live their healthiest life, thus working towards health equity. So if you want to learn a little more about Health in All Policies, which I could go on for days about the intricacies of, but I'm not supposed to, you can check, I think Phil or Christy might put the link to the Health in All Policies landing page from our Healthy St. Pete website. And then we will also put a link to the Florida Department of Health website for Health in All Policies, because we are part of a larger Pinellas County Health in All Policies collaborative, working in partnership with the Florida Department of Health, Pinellas County, Pinellas Park, and the grant funding from the Foundation for a Healthy St. Pete. So there's a lot of good information on that page as well if you're curious about what all of us are up to. So what I mostly wanted to discuss today in my time slot is the Healthier Together certification. So similar to how the city is working through Health in All Policies to creating the social, economic, and environmental conditions that better promote health, this can occur at smaller scales as well. This is really where the Healthier Together certification fits in, and really the word together being the true focus of that. So every day we can look at our neighborhood associations, we can look at our workplaces, our employers, we can look at faith-based organizations, we can look at essentially all organizations and what they can do to create healthier conditions for our neighborhoods, for their customers, for their employees, and help create an environment that supports healthy behaviors to lead to a healthier St. Pete. And so through this certification, we're hoping to elevate the work that many organizations are already doing, such as your organizations, by recognizing them for their efforts through certification, in addition to working to empower all community leaders with the tools they need to join Healthy St. Pete and all of our networks into creating healthier conditions for everyone. So essentially, I want to say that whether you are already doing 50 gazillion things, or you're just starting to think about how you can promote health in your neighborhood or your workplace or your church group or your any group, we really welcome everybody to participate, and we're really hoping that we can provide new ideas to promote health and facilitate idea sharing among all of our partners. This certification will eventually expand to all types of organizations, but we're starting first with the Healthy Neighborhood certification and the Healthy Workplaces certification. So for neighborhoods, the focus will be on certifying neighborhood associations. From what I could find through my research, I have not found a similar city-based healthy neighborhood certification program that specifically targets the role of neighborhood associations in creating healthier conditions. I've really found a lot about urban planning and what cities can do through policies and zoning and land use planning, but this is the first I've been able to see of someone saying, well, what's the role of neighborhood associations, particularly in developing a certification? So I'm really excited about launching this program and seeing what all of our neighborhood associations are doing through this certification. And then for workplaces, we've drafted the certification to include all types of workplaces. Originally, we were calling it the Healthy Business Certification. We're like, well, that's not right, because we want nonprofits to participate too, they're employers. So we're looking at a healthy workplaces certification. You can go from private sector to nonprofit sectors, employers of any sector, employers of any size, from like small mom and pop shops with just a couple employees to large corporate entities. We've intentionally written the draft certification broadly so that anyone can participate and that your score won't be harmed by being a certain size business or from a particular sector. So we want basically everyone, if you are working hard, to be able to achieve, you know, gold, silver, bronze. This certification includes evidence-based health and wellness principles from hundreds of hours of research. And we're working to include health promoting actions that really make sense to St. Petersburg from the evidence base, and also considering what already has been taking place. So I've reached out to a few of you, and Christy's reached out to a few of you to be like, what are you doing in your neighborhood? What are you doing in your business? And seeing, does the evidence support that being health promoting? Yes. Let's make sure it's in the tool that they can get points for something like that. Additionally, as Christy kind of was hinting at, this isn't just a certification. It's not a sticker program. We're not just going to say gold star and talk to you later in a couple of years when you want your next gold star. This is really meant to be a conversation starter. It's meant to be a network. It's meant to be a partnership. That's really what the word together means. So through workshops like this, we might, or other platforms, our Facebook group, wherever, we're going to look at how we can help organizations brainstorm together and share their ideas and experiences. We're going to look at how we can like put the spotlight on some businesses and neighborhood associations that are doing a fantastic job. Even a bit later today, we're going to hear from Brother John on some of the Amazing Things Child's Park neighborhood associations is already doing. And then in the future, we can hopefully highlight others and maybe have, you know, some sort of brainstorming session where we can share ideas and help each other, lift each other up with these ideas. Additionally, Christy mentioned that the Healthy St. Pete website will be having a nice major update. And one of my favorite features of that I'm most excited about and that we need your ideas for is the resource library. So the Healthy St. Pete website, is going to have a Healthier Together program, and then the resource library under that will include health promoting resources for right now, workplaces and neighborhood associations. The resources will align really well with the certification programs and give you ideas on how to implement those concepts. So if we ask you a question about, well, do you have a neighborhood wellness champion? This might give you ideas of, well, how do I identify a neighborhood wellness champion? What activities can they do? If you're a business and you read on the certification about a tobacco-free policy statement and you have no idea where to start, we're going to put the draft language on there that you can copy and paste and change to fit your business model the most that you want so that you are easily able to implement those actions. We'll also include things like local low-cost fitness classes that you can refer your employees to, programming ideas for promoting nutrition and food access in your workplace or neighborhood association, and a lot more. And so if any of our partners on the call today, or you know someone that could be one of these resources we put in our resource library, we really want to include as much as we can in a simple way as possible. So I'm also curious to hear in the chat box, or you can always send us an email if you're feeling a little shy in the chat box, although I don't think internet shyness is a thing, but you can let us know if there's anything in particular you really want. So if you're a business owner or a nonprofit manager and you're like, this is what I really want to know what to do for employee wellness, or if you're a neighborhood association and you've been like, I wanted to do this, but I don't really know how, reach out to us, tell us, please put this in the resource library, because really we need it to serve your needs. We want to align with the certification, but it needs to serve everybody's needs. So it's going to be a nice resource hub. And then finally, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the draft questions themselves. We've aimed to keep the certification tool really simple. I know a lot of people have seen probably the American Heart Association's certification or the CDC's Workplace Wellness Certification, which is I think over 100-page PDF, amazingness, but over 100 pages. So we're aiming to keep it a little simpler. Like I said, tailored to St. Pete. Right now, we only have 16 or 17 draft questions with lots of multiple choice answers. And so we're keeping it simple. And the questions also follow a very broad definition of health using that social determinants of health lens. So you'll see those traditional health questions on this tool and the guidance for traditional health things related to organizational policies and programs such as that relate to physical activity and fitness, tobacco-free lifestyles, healthcare access, healthy eating, all great things. But you're also going to see some more unique questions that you wouldn't traditionally see on one of the existing healthy business type tools. Like I said, there isn't really one for neighborhoods we could go off of except for the evidence base and the literature. So one example, the Neighborhood Association survey has a question right now that says, does your neighborhood association actively promote diversity and inclusion through any of the following methods? And that's because we know that diversity and inclusion is part of the social determinants of health. It matters to health. So we put a range of answers such as you have a written policy and commitment to a diversity inclusion. Your leadership has participated in a cultural competency training, or you've offered one to your entire neighborhood. You've planned child-friendly events. You've actively considered special accommodations for people with physical or developmental disabilities during your neighborhood association events. You've hosted a cultural event, or you even conducted an internal audit of participation in your events and your meetings, particularly to see if that participation is reflective of your neighborhood demographics. Is who lives in your neighborhood actually who's showing up? And so I'm so excited for providing resources on that and any ideas everyone else does. We've also included a lot of questions on civic engagement and advocacy as it relates to social determinants of health, the types of social activities you do, volunteerism in the community, participations in community coalitions related to social determinants of health and equity. That'll get you some points, and we'll also tell you how to do it, or everyone here could tell you how to do it, and a few other activities on both versions of the tool that we have so far. And like I said, it's going to be expanded beyond workplaces and neighborhoods, but that's where we've started. And then finally, in all the questions, like I said, we're aiming to provide so many options so that any size organization can get the points that they need. So I want to give an example for businesses in particular. Let's say for fitness, which is like that traditional health question. We look at like what actions can you take, and maybe a small business can't go putting a gym in the back of their room at Walgreens. That's just not going to work. So maybe we provide other ideas and other ways to get points. Things like you could subsidize a gym membership, or perhaps you could give your employees a list of free or low cost fitness classes, such as our Healthy St. Pete fitness classes, or ones at the rec center or the YMCA. Or maybe you even arrange a group outing and you go exercise together, or you do walking meetings, or you have a steps competition using everyone's built-in cell phone pedometers to see if everyone on your staff of 5 can hit a certain number of steps a week, and then you recognize those employees that do. So that's what I mean. We want to provide options. So anyway, I'm super excited to launch these certifications soon. We've got some preliminary feedback because we sent out a draft to a couple of select people, some of who are on this call. But once it's launched, we're also going to be looking for partners to help us spread the word. We're going to be looking for feedback so we can continuously improve and update the programs resource library on our website. And we're looking for ideas on networking opportunities and getting people together to brainstorm. So I'm looking forward to working with everyone here, and I will turn it back to Christy.
I love it. We got lots of awesome notes in the chat. So thank you, Cassidy, for sharing so much of what we've worked on really for like the past 2 years. This wasn't just an idea that we decided to do and then we launched it. It was a year really of seeing what else is out there and really analyzing that on a national scale. And then what Cassidy said is, how will this directly work in St. Petersburg? How will it help us reach our goals and the goals of everyone in the community to work together towards a healthier city? So we're really excited. We will share more with you as soon as we can, and we will still be sending out drafts and ideas, and it's really going to be comprehensive and data-driven, as Cassidy likes to say.
Yeah.
And we all like to say. So thank you so much to Cassidy. So I don't know about you guys, but it's Monday morning and I think we need to stand up. Even if you're not on video, you know it was coming. So I have my 2 friends, Kim and Cassidy turned her video off. Kim and Lynn are going to help us with this. So Kim, are you here? Can you turn your audio on? Maybe she's here. Kim is our Healthy St. Pete coordinator. And is Lynn here? Lynn, can you turn your audio on? Lynn is our Healthy St. Pete manager. All right, Lynn needs to give us a number, 1 to 10. Lynn, what's your number, 1 to 10?
Number 7.
7. And Kim, are you here?
I am. I'm right here.
Kim, you're going to give me a letter A to G. Letter A to G.
R.
R. A to G.
Oh, sorry. Let's do E.
E. Okay, so here, so we're not cheating. Kim chose E, and that says high knees. And Lynn chose 7, so we're doing 7 high knees. I know we're not all on video, and I have a high table, so I'm gonna have to do really high knees. You guys ready? I'm gonna count them. 1, I see some people sitting. 2, 3, keep going. 4, keep going. 5, I'm in flip-flops too. 6, 7, and give everyone a virtual high five. Okay, shake it out, shake it out. See, that was doable. We all did that, right? We got our heart rate up a little bit. My 2 big pet peeves about meetings and workshops now, and especially now that we're virtual, but even in person, is who's ever gone to a meeting and sat there for hours and hours, and now that we're in Zoom workshops, we sit here and for hours and hours, so you need to move, which anyone that was at our January meeting knows that we did a lot of movement at our workshop in January in person at the Health Equity Center. And number 2 is what next? So we hope that we're facilitating a conversation. We're about midway through our workshop here, but even through every speaker, we hope we provoke a what's next and what can I do more. So we'll be following up with that more as we go. And we're gonna turn it over to Susie. Susie, how are you? Did you get your high knees in?
Yes, I did. Actually, I turned my video on so you can see, and actually I even had
I love it.
I had my audio on, so that's a great break during a presentation, and actually I needed that because I can tell you I've been doing a lot of sitting.
We all have. It's nothing new. It's the Zoom world. So I'll encourage you guys in your next Zoom workshop, anything that you're doing, throw in a little A through G, 1 through 7, get some engagement, get some fun, and get moving. So I will leave it to Susie to introduce herself and her role, and I'm gonna share my screen and let me know when you would like me to go forward.
Do we want to try were you able to put together the poll?
Oh, the poll, thank you for reminding me. Yes, we do have a quick poll from Susie. Let me pull that up and I will launch that poll. So if you guys could take a quick moment for 2 questions. Are you active in your neighborhood association? And even if you don't live in St. Petersburg, that's okay. If you live in Clearwater or Tampa or wherever you happen to live, are you active in that neighborhood association? And then why or why not? And you can, for why or why not, you can choose all that apply. And again, put any additional questions or ideas in the chat box about why or why not. We would love to hear, and especially Susie would love to hear as well. So we have about a quarter of the people participated, almost half. So we'll give it another few minutes. Thank you for reminding me about this, Susie. Thank you for providing these questions. Let's see, give it about 20 more seconds. You guys are fast. Good job, 2/3 are in. And then I will share the results. And again, please put anything in the chat box that's relevant or any questions that you have for Susie. Have about 10 people left to fill it out. If you guys have a couple seconds, we'll do 5, 4, 3, 2, and that's it. Got almost everybody in. So let me share those results, you guys. Well, most are not active, but that's okay. We're gonna learn about why we should be active, right, Susie?
Oh, no, this is good. Actually, the spread on this one is kind of what I expected. I was, but I always want to see in terms of where everybody is with neighborhood associations, because there are a lot of impressions, perceptions about neighborhood associations. I'm Susie Ahawk. I'm the Community Services Director for the City of St. Petersburg. I have, like Cassidy, I also have a background in urban planning, but my undergraduate is in psychology. So when Cassidy and Kim and Christy came to talk to me about healthier neighborhoods, very, very, very intrigued. You know, because I've been with the city for about 30 years and have worked with our neighborhoods and have seen quite a progression and evolution of some of the things our neighborhoods have been doing over the years. And I'm delighted that Brother John is also on this panel, because I have seen some of the changes as he first came into leadership with his neighborhood, and he'll share his story in terms of where they are now. So let's talk about the mission of community services. So our mission statement's to be responsive to resident and neighborhood issues, like coordinating services to implement, you could read the rest of it. So essentially what we tell people, what is it that we do? We're here for the neighborhoods. We are here, I like to use, we're here as the gappers. A lot of times there are residents in the community, there are business people within the community that aren't really sure in terms of where to go, how to get there. And our role is really try to help them get to that next location, that next spot, to get them along that pathway to whatever it is that they want to do. So that's why when I mentioned Brother John and some of the changes, the evolution and the level of engagement within the community is where I'm hopeful for all of our neighborhoods within the city. If we can go to our next slide, please. So what do we do? So we have a number of different categories. I could probably talk for about an hour or more on neighborhood associations, but to try to keep me to this area, I wanted to just focus on really 4 areas. We are a staff of 7, small group, but we do quite a bit. Obviously, our start with the city was with neighborhood associations. We were charged by Mayor Fisher, with the strong mayor form of government, to go and find out what the neighborhoods wanted. Essentially, that was the charge. So at the time, we had about 40 neighborhoods in the early 90s. And we went out and asked them, I'm not here to help form you. We don't form neighborhood associations. It is grassroots. We're here to provide those tools to our neighborhoods to empower them, to determine what those priorities and issues and things that they want to address. And we are there to partner with them to help them figure out how to make that happen. So we have 2 different kinds of grants. One is a neighborhood partnership grant. Neighborhood and business associations can apply for up to $20,000 for physical improvements within their community. They will match it with either in-kind services, volunteer hours, and some neighborhoods match it with cash. The other is relatively new. It's a mini grant opportunity. And what we have found over the years is that a number of our neighborhoods, they kind of cycle through levels of activity. So during those lull periods, the last time we had some of our neighborhoods go inactive really was through in about 2007, 2008 with the last recession. The mini grant is intended to engage our neighborhoods and get people talking to each other. One of the other programs that helps bring people together is neighborhood planning, where residents, and it's all residents within a boundary of a community, have an opportunity to say, here are our priorities. And when we go in with a flip chart and we tell them, here's your plan. You need to tell us. It doesn't have to look, all of the plans don't have to look the same way because all of our neighborhoods don't look the same way. In terms of engaging communities, we also have a ICANN initiative, Involve Citizens Active in Neighborhoods. We partner with a number of our nonprofits. We have groups, resident groups, whether it's a neighborhood association, individuals, faith-based groups that say, I want to volunteer, I want to do something. So we connect them with the needs in the community. So it's important for us to participate in sessions such as this, so we know what are the needs out there, what's available to our citizens within the community. We also have a number of community outreach events, such as our Edwards Holiday Gala. We used to have a Family Fun Day years ago, where a number of our social service agencies were out in the community at this event to share information with our public. We fed them and some others. One of the things that we found over the years is that many of our community partners were already reaching out, and it was really a duplication of services. So we have a number of different programs within the what we call innovative programs. We have 4 youth employment opportunities. They're workforce training. So, preparing our young people for their future careers. It may not necessarily be in the area that they will be working in, but the exposure to those soft skills and the opportunity to interact with individuals within the workplace is really a good thing. We have seen some of our young people come through several of our programs. They start with the younger kids, our style program, the summer training for youth leadership and employment, and move on to our BOLI program, which is our youth employment. And we have a new program called Reads to Me, which is tied to the Lou Williams Early Childhood Center, where our young people are actually reading to our 3 and 4 year olds. And in addition to youth employment, we're also concerned about financial empowerment, financial inclusion. What are those strategies? What are those programs that we have? And how are they part of an overall system to help build wealth within the community? It's, for example, with billing and collections, if somebody is behind on billing and collections, there's a program that was set up so that the city can work with the resident, but also provide those resources to help them get on track in terms of setting those goals or identifying those resources to help put them in a better position financially. We partner with United Way, Suncoast, and I saw Dr. Johnson is here on the call, who actually is the lead for the Financial Empowerment Center at Campbell Park. We partnered with United Way to help get that open within the community. And we're also engaged with the Bank on Suncoast, which is the financial opportunities that are affordable, accessible to individuals, are underbanked and non-banked individuals within the community, and let them know that there are options available to them. St. Pete Paws, and you notice that the pause, go back please.
Sorry.
Whoops, nope, back one. St. Pete Paws is our pet friendly program. One of the things that we recognize that, and we've noticed during the pandemic, that many people have, we've emptied our shelters, and people have brought cats, dogs, and other furry, feathered, scaled critters home. People consider pets part of their family, but there's also an economic development because pets are in our household. There is a considerable amount of money spent on their pets, and that has an impact, economic impact within our community. And we're also encouraging, like the bike-friendly businesses, we also encouraging pet-friendly businesses as well. We're also working with the Meadow Lawn neighborhood on the development of a community garden that's on the Lynch Elementary school grounds. Hopefully we'll be able to open that one in the fall. And we have about a third of our staff is the Action for the Action Center. So they are I refer to them as the inspectors for the public right-of-way. So potholes, sidewalks, curbing, and then working with our neighborhoods on grants are things that they do. So how does this all apply to health? So Christy, next slide, please. So looking at the social determinants of health, here's how our neighborhoods are involved. And I think one of the things as we move forwards, and the role of our department is really to help introduce the language. So when we talk to our neighborhoods and a neighborhood says, or residents say, I want to form a neighborhood association, we talk about a number of different things. One is we tell people one of the benefits of starting a neighborhood association is that you get to know each other. By knowing each other, it makes it a safer community. So here we're encouraging engagement. You know who should be in the neighborhood and who shouldn't be in the neighborhood, that there are grants. Those grants could be for improvements to whether it's a built environment or a natural environment. Maybe they want to add some additional trees or landscaping within the community. And then they have to match it. So maybe they're doing cleanups within the neighborhoods. We have one neighborhood that has two cleanups per year, and they're collecting anywhere from 10 to 15 tons of material. So I kind of kid them that they're going into the other neighborhoods and stealing their debris and putting in their dumpsters so that they can maintain that high level of trash collection within the community. Economic development, and I touched on this, our youth employment and our St. Pete Pause, that they're in our financial inclusion and helping individuals become more stable financially. That's a part of economic development. You know, during this pandemic, what's been interesting is that many of our neighborhoods weren't really sure what to do. You know, and Brother John's going to talk about this. They were probably the first to go virtual, and so I've been spreading the news. Do something virtual. Many of them have done scheduled activities and things for their community where they know that families are out walking, because we had been for a time there we'd been sheltered at home, so they're walking the community. So they created the Easter egg hunt, or the hunt for the bear. So it's I think as we move forwards, how do we continue that contact? Why don't we go ahead to the next slide, please? So we're really trying to make sure that our neighbors stay engaged. We really want them to communicate with each other, but it's also important for them to be collaborative. One of the things that we tell them with the neighborhood meetings is, if you want speakers, don't have it be city staff. That's, from a staff perspective, to us, that's actually kind of boring, unless there's an issue. But in order to expand your knowledge, let's reach out to the community and find out what resources are available to you. You know, healthy neighborhoods, they need access to services and facilities, but if they're not organized, we may or may not know what it is that they still need within the community. We do a lot of information sharing with our neighborhoods. For our partners who would like to get a list of our associations, we can make that available to you so you can send information out. I think it's important to know that we are a community of a wealth of information, and they should be sharing it. And obviously we want input. You know, I kid about, I'm from government and I'm here to help, you know, and they laugh about that, but truly we are here from government. But in order for us to be effective, we need our residents to provide input. Not only does it make us accountable, it also makes them accountable if they say they're going to do, residents are going to do something, but also the relationship is transparent. Next slide, please. And here is my contact information. Look forward to the continuation of our discussion. I probably just made it just right. Thanks, Christy.
Thank you so much, Susie. We appreciate your point of view. And I always like to point out, especially in a department like yours, similar to Healthy St. Pete, is that we're doing something different than a lot of other cities are doing. Your position is unique in communities as opposed to other cities. And this is something that the city is making a conscious effort to bring in community collaborations, whether it's with neighborhoods, whether it's with police department, whether it's with health. And I'm honored to be part of that. And I'm glad that we can all kind of share that with the residents, the community that are on the call today. So thank you. All right, and we're gonna jump right over to Brother John Muhammad. We really appreciate you being here, Brother John. You've gotten a good warm up from Susie. She told about all the great things you're doing, and look at that amazing background you have. I'm gonna put you in spotlight here. Okay. You were just at the sunrise, and now you're in Child's Park, live and in person. So I'm gonna turn it over to you to introduce yourself and your role and some of the innovative things that you've been doing that others on the call can take advantage of. So thanks, Brother John.
Sure, thank you. And yeah, I can say thank you, Susie, and just repeat what she said because she covered a lot of the ground. And so thank you all for having us. I'm Brother John Muhammad, president of the Child's Park Neighborhood Association. I saw a question in the chat. Our association meets the third Tuesday of every month. And you can get information at mychildspark.webs.com. And again, I want to thank Cassidy, Christy, Marcus. You know, we've done some stuff together, Susie, and really the entire Healthy St. Pete team, who have really been great partners to the Childs Park neighborhood over the past few years. So, and I say my Childs Park because there are two Childs Parks. There's the Childs Park of legend, and then there's my Child's Park. And so what I'll be talking about today is my Child's Park. And it may not necessarily line up with the legend that you've heard about Child's Park, which has had some challenges in the past, but there's a lot of great work that's happening here, a lot of great people that are here. We have about 6,583 residents, almost 2,200 households, a little over 1,500 families, and we love each other for real. So I was going to talk about the importance of having a neighborhood association and an active association, but I think Susie covered that. We benefited from having an active association, primarily through, of course, the social aspect of it, where you get together and you get to know your neighbors and have interaction with your neighbors. And also we've benefited from, having that access to information and resources that we can disseminate and get out to residents and have, communication with officials and the ability to address community issues and get them resolved pretty quickly. Another one of the benefits is, you can really put your hands on city staff from multiple departments at any one given time through the neighborhood association. So the way we structure our meetings is we have updates from like the codes compliance department, the sanitation department, and we also have our community service officer, Officer Pete, will provide an update on, any public safety issues that we're having. And it's also an opportunity to engage if there's questions or if there's things that we would like to lift up to have them addressed. We can address them at that point. And, I know the theme is healthier together, and that's true, because as an association, or you think about it as an individual, if you call and say, hey, I have this problem in my alley, you'll get a result and you'll get some action. But what I found is saying, hey, I'm Brother John Muhammad, a member of the Childs Park Neighborhood Association, and that kind of gets a little more attention I've seen. I don't know what it is, but that's just been my reality since I joined the neighborhood association, and others have shared that as well. They kind of throw that down on the table as a card that they can pull and say, hey, I'm a member of the association. And then they get the attention that they need. Not saying that the Action Center doesn't respond.
Oh, there he is.
And we've been, pretty active. I see this thing saying my connection is unstable. Can y'all hear me?
You just went off for a second, but I think you're back now.
All right. Cool. All right. So also we've been pretty active over the past few years. We've developed some really great relationships that have helped us to address some of the social determinants of health. When I started, I walked into like the end of the renovation of the rec center, and we dedicated a fitness center, a dance studio, and a kitchen. And this was like December of 2011, and then what we did was we started working with city staff. Originally, there was a fee associated with using the fitness center, and we didn't have as much participation, and so we worked with the administration to waive the fee and make it free, because it was almost free anyway. Maybe like $20 a year or something like that. And it was like, okay, well, $20 a year, nobody's really using it. What if it was free? And they removed the $20 a year fee, and like usage just shot through the roof. And so we were able to get more people actively involved with using the fitness center. We hosted a lot of classes on how to prepare healthy meals on a budget. Again, through partnerships, we partnered with USF, and they did like a 6-week class on how to prepare healthy meals, for under $10. It was like a 6-week class, and really engaged a lot of the residents around, how to ball out on a budget, the cost of eating out versus the cost of preparing your meals, it's twofold. It's more expensive to go and pay somebody else to prepare it. And then the cost on our health, eating processed meals and fast food was another one of those things that, was costing us that we didn't see. We also used the kitchen to host a successful pilot to a culinary program for those who are hard to hire. And we began our annual Family Fun Day around 2012. And because we have the Recreation and Fitness Center, the name was changed to include Fitness Center. So we changed the Family Fun Day theme to Family Fun and Fitness. And we began providing workshops and demonstrations that were age appropriate and ability specific so that we can get everybody moving in the neighborhood. This was kind of during the days of the Let's Move campaign that was launched by former First Lady Michelle Obama. And so we kind of plugged into that and started really developing activities. And we have an annual event. Couldn't do it because of COVID, which we'll talk about in a minute, but really getting people moving. And because of the dynamics of our association, having a wide range of ages, it was important that we make things age and ability specific, because there's some people who can do more things than others. And so considering that, and so we did that for several years and continued to do those things. And then fast forward to around this time last year, Susie mentioned neighborhood planning as one of the activities that the neighborhood association does. And we had a strategic plan, or have a strategic plan. And last year around this time, we met with city staff from multiple departments. It seemed like every department on the org chart was there. It was really amazing. Again, another one of the benefits of being an association is you have that type of access. And we were able to evaluate our Greater Childs Park strategic plan and see what areas of the plan we wanted to focus on. And the two areas that came up at that time were business and economic development on the east side of 49th Street, and then addressing environmental concerns, specifically around the industrial corridor that runs through the spine of the neighborhood, is what I call it, along the Pinellas Trail. And while we were having those conversations, at the same time, the Office of Sustainability and Resiliency, they were having conversations with the Foundation for a Healthy St. Petersburg about, doing like an environmental assessment and impact. And so, the way St. Pete works and the way we have been plugged in, we've done work with the Foundation for a Healthy St. Petersburg, helped with some sustainability work. And so it was like, hey, have you all heard about this thing that we're planning? Let's maybe do it together. And so it was really a match made in heaven. We ended up getting a grant from the Foundation for a Healthy St. Petersburg to actually work on a neighborhood resiliency initiative and really do some environmental impact work around the industries and look at how we can establish resiliency hubs. So shout out to the Foundation for being a good neighbor, because the Foundation for Healthy St. Petersburg, the Center for Health Equity, is actually in the Greater Childs Park neighborhood. So I'm going to try and fast track this a little bit because we talked about, starting along that track of doing resiliency work, doing the stuff with businesses. But then this whole global pandemic kind of broke out. And I think the phrase that we started out with, Christy, was pivot. So we ended up having to pivot as well. And in our pivot, one of the things that we wanted to do was make sure that children who were out of school but relied on school lunches, as one of their primary meals through the day, we wanted to make sure that those meals were still being had and that children were still eating and having, healthy lunches. And so, again, the way that the neighborhood works is one of our partners in the neighborhood, Miss Patty Sawyer, who's actually the executive director at PLC now, she reached out and, was like, hey, I got, this idea. I want to do this thing called Love Lunches, but I need a location. And I want to do it, somewhere that's not already being done. And we looked at a couple spots, and then we thought about our partners over at the foundation, and we made a call and said, hey, let's, is it okay if we set up here and do these Love Lunches? We got the green light from the staff over there, and we ended up establishing the Love Lunch program, which has now served over 13,000 meals to children and families since the shutdown that happened right after spring break. Also during COVID, our vice president, Jabbar Edmond, it's kind of funny, he actually read a report early on in like late March and early April that showed that wearing masks helped reduce the spread of COVID in other countries. And this was during the time when the CDC was still kind of debating, we were having that, should we wear a mask or not? Is it just hand washing, whatever? And so after him reading that report, he actually purchased 200 masks on his own. And then we started just like, okay, until they figure it out, like I saw this is what's working in other places. And so we started assembling what we called COVID kits, and we started distributing masks on our own in the community. And from that initial 200, we began getting donations, and we started getting other supplies, and we distributed about 1,500 COVID kits directly through the efforts of residents with very little institutional support at that time. And then after the CDC came back and like kind of made up their mind and said that, yeah, masks do help, then we started seeing the mass distribution increase, and we were really excited about that, to be a part of that and to be able to continue to support the distribution of masks. Another one of the things too, and as I try and land this plane, the immediate support from the foundation again for Healthy St. Petersburg was great, because they allowed us to pivot and take the attention and the original focus of the grant and really put it into these resiliency and COVID related efforts. And we have been able to contact and hire what we call community connectors. And the community connectors have been helping us to reach out to residents and distribute surveys so that we can assess what the needs of the residents are. And after we assess those needs, we organize to meet the needs. And we began making what we called compassion calls, just checking on neighbors to see how they were doing. And it was, interesting that during the course of those calls, what we found was that most of the cases, people had the basic needs. They just needed somebody to talk to because they were socially distant from everybody else. We've also began reaching out to businesses to inform them of the different grants and programs that are available that are in place to help with the COVID response, the Fighting Chance Fund and other things, and have been working with the city to just make sure that the information is being distributed. And so the path forward, of course, is staying in touch with members, keeping them engaged. We did a lot of other stuff, but I don't have time to talk about it. What I will say is for those who are interested in being a part of the neighborhood association, you can go to mychildspark.webs.com. You can find out more information about the work that we're doing, and you can also contact us through that portal there. But yeah, as we're grooving into this, what people are calling a new normal, we're really excited about implementing the lessons that we've learned and the technology aspect that has, in this effort that we've been forced into, to see how we can add it to the traditional community organizing methods that we've been using to really expand our reach and continue to pursue, working to put neighbor back in the hood and really being an example of what it means to be healthier together. So thank you again for allowing me this opportunity to share a little bit about My Child's Park.
Thank you so much. You just gave me chills at the end. You brought it together to Healthier Together and everything. Thank you so much, Brother John. That means a lot to us to hear from you and to really reiterate that everyone wants to have an impact, but you can't have an impact alone, right? So if it's in your neighborhood, if it's in your congregation, your small business, your school, whatever organization you're a part of, you can bring that passion and really create change on a large level as you have had so much success. So we really appreciate your time today. And we have one more friend to hear from today. So we really want to thank you guys for hanging with us, and feel free to get those knee raises in any other time. Here's the list if you need some other ideas. Any of those are acceptable. And we're going to toss it over. Clayton might get us moving or might get us relaxing, one or the other.
Well, Brother John, you certainly landed the plane, brother. Thank you so much. And it is an honor and a pleasure to be on the call with you all. Such an incredible city that we live in. Chrissy chatted that teamwork makes the dream work. And I'm honored and privileged to be working here in St. Petersburg. My organization is the Mindful Movements Florida. If you get a chance, please check us out. www.mindfulmovementflorida.org. We are a part and have worked very closely in collaboration with several organizations. One of the real big organizations that we work with is an organization out of New York called Urban Yoga Foundation. I've really collaborated and worked with a lot of you guys as well, and it's been an incredible experience. Mindful movement brings health and holistic issues to underserved communities. We use the practice of yoga and mindfulness to basically help impact our communities and bring knowledge and understanding about health to other people, to people. We're in 12 different schools in St. Petersburg, the St. Pete, Tampa area. COVID has definitely done a number on us in terms of how we're doing things. We do a free yoga program every Monday and Wednesday, 5P to 6P. Go to our website. It's right on the website. It's a Zoom call every Monday and Wednesday, 5P to 6P. And most certainly, I'm also known as Mr. Yoga. And it's good to be an ambassador. Great conversations today. Again, teamwork makes the dream work. We're all under the same umbrella. The level of communication must increase. This is a new normal. It's my opinion that this isn't going to go away for a long time. And if nothing else, we all must realize, we must totally and completely understand that our health is our true wealth. Your health is your wealth. So I know there's a lot of smart people on the call here today, but I'm going to go over some real basic stuff. I'm going to talk about the immune system. And these are things that we're bringing into underserved communities. These are things that we bring to students in school. Positive affirmations, being able to help regulate individuals. I got to tell you, I tell young people all the time, the greatest computer in the world is right in between your ears, okay? Right here, right in between your ears. Your mind, the greatest computer in the world. What we do and try to do more than anything else, we try to help young people think before they act, to self-regulate themselves, to calm themselves down. So in our COVID world right now, it is all about the immune system, ladies and gentlemen. This is the new flu. This ain't going nowhere for a long time. So again, just a quick review. The immune system. It is a system in humans and other animals that provides immunity by protecting against disease, causing agents such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. The immune system is composed of the skin and mucous membranes, which provide an external barrier to infection. Okay, so it's about strengthening the immune system, how the immune system works. It is essential for our survival. Without an immune system, our bodies would be open to attack from bacteria. And there are 6 primary ways and 6 things that you can do to boost your immune system. Ladies and gentlemen, critical. We must boost our immune system. Number 1, okay? You gotta think about this. Even the healthiest of people get sick now and then. But by fine-tuning certain aspects of your health, such as your diet, stress management, you can reduce sickness. You can reduce these things. So the number 1 thing to help boost your immune system is your diet, ladies and gentlemen. Following a rich diet in antioxidants is essential to supporting our immune system. Abundance in fruits, vegetables, things of that nature, antioxidants, combat free radicals, chemical byproducts known to damage the DNA, vegetables, fruits, choosing healthy fats, okay? Omega-3 fatty acids available in fish oils, flaxseed, and krill. Leaving and staying away as much as you possibly can, saturated fats. Those are fats found in meats and in dairy products. I'm at that point in my time, dairy is down, dairy is not my thing. But you know, I know a lot of people do it, but you gotta be mindful, you gotta do things in moderation, okay? Drinking plenty of water, okay? I practice what I preach, y'all. Cheers. Let me tell you something. Hydration is probably one of the most important things we could possibly do, okay? Drinking plenty of water helps cells operate efficiently and allows your body to process the food that we're putting inside of it. And it'll help to eliminate waste. Number 2 thing that we must do to boost our immune system is exercise. What are you doing? The knee up? Gotta do a little more than that, y'all. Do a little more than the knee ups. The good news is that regular, moderate intensity exercise confers that it helps boost the immune system. Ladies and gentlemen, yoga, you know, and I'm at that age, I'm at that tender age in my life where I'm not trying to run a marathon. I'm not trying to lift 1,000 pounds. My focus is to keep my heart strong and my body flexible, okay? Little cardiovascular, very, very important. It's probably one of the most important things you can do to help boost the immune system. Number 3 thing that you need to do to boost the immune system is stress reduction, reducing the stress. Guys, Mr. Yoga says, sit down a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I meditate about maybe 45 minutes every day, but I sit down and I meditate. I relax my body, I relax my mind, I relax my breath. I center myself. So very important. Stress reduction, okay? Addressing chronic stress is something that you can take an action on. When you are calm, you're gonna be healthy, okay? The number 4 thing, sleep, okay? Sleep, ladies and gentlemen, get your 8 hours of sleep, okay? Me, I'm sleeping 9, 10 hours these days, but get your rest. I'm telling you, sleep, rest cures all ills, cures just about anything. The 5th thing is hygiene. Very, very important, okay? Simply keeping your hands clean is one of the best ways to ward off illnesses. And according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, you gotta make sure that you wash those hands for about 20 seconds using warm water. Really wash your hands. When you come in, when you go out, wearing the mask. It was so cool to hear Brother John talking about them getting on board with understanding that masks are important. Let me tell you something. When you see what's going on in other countries, they've been wearing masks for years. So when people are telling me, don't wear a mask, I'm like, no, let's get some masks going here, okay? Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. So hygiene, very, very important. The last thing, 6th most important thing regarding the immune system, herbs and supplements. I'm convinced that there's no way that we can get all the nutrients and vitamins that we need in our body on a daily basis based on the way we eat, okay? So it's extremely important to take some kind of multivitamins, to find different things that you can take. I know scientists have determined that vitamin C is a very, very good thing. Antioxidants, echinacea, elderberry. You know, the old timers, elders really understand and know about older remedies. And we've got to get back to a lot of that stuff. Natural foods, natural homeopathic things that we can eat and take to help supplement our nutrition, help supplement our bodies, giving us the vitamins that we need on a daily basis. So 6 primary things, guys. I'm gonna go over once again. Number 1, okay, diet. Number 1, improve your diet. Number 2, exercise. Free yoga class every Monday and Wednesday, 5P to 6P on the Zoom. All you gotta do is just come on in. We're there, okay? Stress reduction. Reduce the stress, ladies and gentlemen. This is a stressful time. Don't play yourself. It's a very stressful time. Reduce the stress. Sleep. Get your rest. Get your rest. Hygiene, and most certainly herbs and supplements. I want to close us out by going through a really quick affirmation. I'm a very, very big affirmator. When I work with young people, I always start classes with an intention, and I always end with affirmation. So I want to just do 10 quick affirmations. I want everybody, wherever you're at, I want you to sit in your chair, okay? Chin parallel to the ground, spine straight. I just want you to find a nice seat, legs crossed, legs straight. I just want you to sit for a moment, and I want you to focus on your breath. I want you to breathe through your nose. I want you to inhale, exhale. I want you to connect with your breath. I know your mind might wander, it might go away, but it's okay. Just come back to the breath. Use the breath as an anchor. Feeling your belly rise as you inhale, and as you exhale, feeling the air coming out of your body. Focusing on the breath. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe the phrase that you are what you think, then life truly stems from your thoughts. So we cannot rely purely on our thoughts. We must translate thoughts into words and eventually into action in order to manifest our intentions. Affirmations are proven methods of self-improvement because of their ability to rewire our brains. Positive talk, not negative talk, positive talk. Much like exercise, they raise the level of good, feel-good hormones and push our brains to form new clusters of positive thought. Positive thoughts create positive actions. So I want you to, as you breathe, I want you to just I'm going to go over 10 affirmations with you. Number 1, inhale, exhale. I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and I choose its contents. Number 2, today I am brimming with energy and overflowing with joy. Number 3, my body is healthy. My mind is brilliant. My soul is tranquil. Number 4, I am superior to negative thoughts and low actions. I'm going to repeat that one. I am superior to negative thoughts and low actions. Number 5, I have been given endless talents, which I will begin to utilize today and every day. Endless talents. Number 6, I forgive those who have harmed me in my past and peacefully detach myself from them. Number 7, a river of compassion washes away my anger and it replaces it with love. Number 8, I am guided in every one of my steps by Spirit, who leads me towards what I know I must do. Number 9, creative energy surges through me and leads me to new and brilliant ideas. Our last one, number 10, happiness is a choice. I base my happiness on my own accomplishments and the blessings that I have been given. And they're abundant for each and every one of us. Guys, continue to breath, inhale, exhale. And as we say in Mindful Movement, Urban Yoga, Florida, the light in me sees, feels, and honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste, y'all. And thank you guys so very much for this opportunity.
Namaste. Thank you, Clayton. What a way to start our Monday and wrap up an awesome morning workshop. We really appreciate you. I appreciate everybody's time here. I put up one more poll for us. I hope everyone continues to have a super peaceful day. I have a few more announcements, but if you guys can go ahead and vote on these 2 questions, we would love to learn about what was most valuable to you today. And then also how you would be most interested in getting involved with Healthy St. Pete in the future. So if you stepped away from your computer, if you can come back and go ahead and answer these poll questions. The bottom question, number 2, is multiple choice, choose all that apply. So if more than one of those looks attractive to you, definitely go ahead and fill those in. And as always, if an option is not there that you would want to reply with, go ahead and put it in the chat, because we want this to be a community collaborative opportunity to get involved, as Brother John and Susie said, in your neighborhood, as Clayton has gotten involved with nonprofits and businesses and schools. As we heard from Marcus, he's gotten involved with nonprofits and combining with schools and really serving the needs in our community. So that really is our goal. I'll give us about 10 more seconds to finish up the poll, and then we have a few quick more announcements. So we got 5, almost everybody's replied, 4, 3, 2. Oh, everyone's at the end. They're like, I'm getting it at the end. All right. Now I'll share the results with you guys. Everyone's excited about the Healthier Together certification opportunity and sharing your events on the Healthy St. Pete platforms, which is something that's really important to us, because we know that we're a resource rich and an event rich, maybe a virtual event rich community right now, but we want to make sure that we're sharing those opportunities. So there's one more event that is a virtual event, but it is going to be a great opportunity for you guys to participate that we would love for you to know about. Who wants to do a hand up or put in chat if you were at our last year's Fit City 5K Glow in the Park run? That was in April 2019. We had over 800 participants, and it was an awesome way to get active and healthy and bring our community partners together. Now, of course, we're not doing an in-person event this year, but we are doing a virtual race, which if you haven't participated in one before, it's basically an on your honor opportunity. We're not going to be timing you or videotaping you or asking you to submit anything. We want you to do it on your own, and whatever works for you. If you want to do a 1 mile, if you want to do a 5K, if you want to do a half marathon, if you want to ride your bike, if you want to go kayaking. We want you to be active and healthy. And I want to tell you about a new twist this year that we're going to benefit play packs, what we're calling play packs for youth in St. Petersburg, to really address, as Brother John said as well, address some of the opportunities that children usually get in an in-person brick and mortar school that a lot of our youth are not going to be able to have an opportunity to do this fall. So that's going to be anything from jump ropes and balls and our Healthy Kids at Home curriculum for mental health. And it's going to be opportunities for physical and mental health materials and curriculum that we're going to be giving out to youth in the community, mostly that are at home and not in a brick and mortar school opportunity. So everything, all of our proceeds from this virtual race are going to benefit the play packs for youth in St. Petersburg. So we're super excited about this race. And if you follow this bit.ly link, which we can put it in the chat box and we'll also email to you, this is where you register. The registration is only $20 right now for your entry into the virtual race, which includes a shirt and a medal and a glow kit, so you can glow in your own park. You pick one of our over 150 parks in St. Petersburg that you can glow in virtually with our race, and then you can support youth wellness initiatives in our city. So we're super excited about that. Again, put in the chat or email me later if you have any other ideas about that theme and how you can get involved or share that. So we're super excited. So call to action, what is next? We are so excited about the Healthier Together certification. We will keep everyone up to date about that. If you've gotten a draft form from us or if you want to check it out, let us know. And we are tweaking that and adding it to our website, as well as gathering all the resources that y'all have continued to supply to us to load in there for, again, as Brother John said, neighborhoods to access and use and businesses to access and use to make each organization in St. Petersburg as healthy as we can. So we're super excited to share that finished product with you. And we really wanted to finish off today just to send you forth with energy and thank you for participating in this workshop today. Mark your calendars for the end of October for our next quarterly workshop. Please go to our website, healthystpetfl.com. I would love Clayton to put up those top 6 lists of ways to be healthy as a blog post. So I'll get with you and make sure we post that for everyone that was here today. And we look forward to featuring all of your guys' work in the future on our website and our social media channels. And we thank you for being here today. Have a wonderful week. Thanks, guys.